Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here, and the Washington Commanders are zeroing in on Ben Johnson as their next head coach. They're flying out to Detroit to interview him and Aaron Glenn again, and a lot of reports have Ben Johnson as the number one candidate for the Washington Commanders, or their number one candidate. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, that notification bell as well, and comment down below who you want the next head coach to be. Alright, so this is going to be a quick video because I got to go to class real quick and do not want to miss the bus. But let's get into news for the Commanders. So with some of these coaches, they can't interview them again until, or at least in person until the next week of the playoffs is over, or if one of these teams gets eliminated. So they are going to Detroit next week to conduct second interviews with offensive coordinator Ben Johnson of the Lions and defensive coordinator of the Lions, Aaron Glenn. So two candidates that they want to meet with again, and they'll meet with them in person. They're going to go with the Jets and stuff. They're going to, roll out the red carpet for Ben Johnson, even Aaron Glenn a little bit, but obviously I think Ben Johnson is higher up on their list than Aaron Glenn. Ben Johnson, for me, is the number one candidate for the Washington Commanders, as my number one candidate at least, and I think it is theirs as well. According to a lot of different reports, he's their number one guy. But just some other information there for you guys. And then John Keim confirmed it. He said, so next week, as others have reported, Washington is expected to interview Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn in Detroit. Also expected to interview Anthony Weaver per source. Would also anticipate them talking to Mike Macdonald, talking to Raheem Morris / Bobby Slowick, they're interviewing these two guys this week. Nothing scheduled yet with Dan Quinn per source, but expectations also for an interview. So everyone they spoke with via Zoom. And interesting, because I think I saw someone said it might have been Ben Stanek or Nikki Jabala. Don't quote me on that. I do believe, though, it is one of those guys that said that they've scheduled a meeting with Dan Quinn. So interesting there, but all the other stuff is not surprising at all. And I think that I'll give you guys my list of who I would want as head coach. So number one will be Ben Johnson. Number two is Mike Macdonald. I understand people don't want defensive guys. Well, there's some successful defensive guys or special teams guys or head coaches in the league right now. Number three would probably be, I don't know, Bobby Slowick. I like him, but I think it might be a year too early for him. So I would say probably Mike Vrabel at 3, even though we're not interviewing him, and then probably Bobby Slowick. Like, those two guys are in the second tier for me. Ben Johnson and Mike Macdonald are in tier 1, but Ben Johnson's a little bit higher up for me than Mike Macdonald, but I would be happy with both of those guys. I mean, Mike Macdonald has done great. Their defense, I mean, they shut down the 49ers. They shut down the Lions, and Mike Macdonald won that battle against Ben Johnson. They shut down the Dolphins as well. I mean, they've done really well this year. I'm probably missing one other team, of a good offense that they shut down, but they've done really well. And he has experience, I think, 2 years as a defensive coordinator for the Ravens, 1 year for Michigan. So he has good experience, and I think he will be hopefully getting a head coach job this year. If it's not with Washington, maybe with someone else. But if it's not this year, he's getting a job 100% next offseason. There is no doubt about it, in my mind at least. Moving on. Benjamin Albright, he had another tweet. I couldn't find it, but it was basically saying Ben Johnson is their number one target and Mike Macdonald will be their second one. And the way he's saying it here, he's saying Ben Johnson is their top target. If they somehow mess that up, Ravens Mike Macdonald will get a look. And, the reason why it barely has any likes is we just posted a few minutes ago, like 15 minutes ago, since I put it up, and it probably has more likes than that now. But he does a really good, he has a lot of good sources, and sometimes he's wrong, but like he was the one who said Eric Bieniemy was coming to DC way before anyone else said it. I think he was right with Adam Peters. So he does have, he does miss sometimes, but a lot of times he does get the information correct, and goes on podcasts as well. So shout out to Benjamin Albright, was on the Big Douglas show. Check him out, great guy. Bulldogs fan, but check him out, and obviously a Commanders fan as well. But he does a good job in terms of getting these things right, has a lot of good sources and predicts this stuff and answers a lot of questions. So if you guys ever have questions, go ahead and ask him on Twitter. But yeah, he basically predicted Ben Johnson as their top guy. And he said if they somehow mess it up, basically saying that it's very likely that he ends up being the head coach. Like, there's probably some mutual interest there between Ben Johnson and the Commanders, and as long as they do everything that they should do, treat him well, and he likes Adam Peters, those two get along, and the structure, like maybe Adam Peters wants too much power and Ben Johnson wants a little bit more, then maybe that would be a little bit of an issue. But besides that, I think they should be fine and they should get this done. But hey, if they somehow mess it up, Mike Macdonald will get a look. So from that, I really feel like Ben Johnson is the guy. And we've heard that early on too, like JP Finley, especially recently. I saw he posted a video. I didn't watch it, but he also had a couple tweets basically saying Ben Johnson is their guy. He is their guy. Only chance is if the Panthers pay him so much money and he ends up going there. That's like the only way I could see him not coming to Washington. I think the Chargers are zeroing in on Jim Harbaugh. We already saw the Titans who what was it? Not Bill. It was Callahan's son. So they hired him. Jared Mayo got hired. So a couple head coaches have already been hired. The Cowboys and Eagles are expected to keep McCarthy and Sirianni. So that helps us out a lot in turn because those jobs could be a little bit attractive. So right now it's like Seattle still has an opening. There's a couple other teams like the Panthers and us that have openings as well. And the Chargers currently still have an opening. But I think that Ben Johnson will end up in DC in the next week or two. So, I do want the Lions to win. But in terms of, I would like the 49ers to win as well, just because then we could get our head coach earlier if that is, in fact, the guy we want to have at the end of the day. And I think that's probably what will end up happening. But yeah, the next week or so, just going to continue to have rumors. They're going to be interviewing these guys second time, like Anthony Weaver, Dan Quinn, Bobby Sloak, all these guys. They're going to be, interviewing these guys, and then they're going to go to Detroit to interview Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson again, which is great. And yeah, we'll see from there. There's going to be a lot of rumors, but what we heard in the beginning was Ben Johnson, and what we're hearing right now is Ben Johnson as well. So I think it will end up being Ben Johnson. That's my prediction. It's not a bold prediction at all. And I really like the direction this team's going in. Ben Johnson's your head coach, Adam Peters as a general manager, and you have the number 2 overall pick in the draft to get that quarterback. So Drake May, obviously, and Ben Johnson have a lot of connections, but there's, you never know who they end up to get. Ben Johnson could have another guy he really likes. Just because he's from UNC doesn't mean he's going to want Drake May for sure. But yeah, that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoy. Sorry if it was a little bit rushed. Again, got to go to class in a little bit. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for updates because things will be coming out. And maybe Rivera gets hired by the Eagles. That would be interesting for sure. Peace, guys.